we are back, and it's time for the Max Agenda. Topic where it interests me a lot because since my GIG days now, I've been wrapping my head around it. I seem not to find answers to it. And we are talking about startups. What shape business be what you need because people have the ideas. I know some ideas no, but we need financial muscle no. We need in terms of money to start up the business. That is why we have Harrison here. He's an expert when it comes to finance and starting up businesses and all that. Now the question I asked me since 2018 and never answer me. Mr. Harrison, good morning and welcome to the Max Money Show. Startups. Obi to make us ideas ni wo mitrim. But me need financial muscle no.
Great.
First and foremost, idea idea obi to me that start a business.
Me da say mutala and your tie for na for so you are right. Every idea papa.
Okay.
But depending on how you contextualize it. Say be untumi mbo obi idea bi engu.
Okay.
Akonwa na otiso no mpaboa na o share atare na o share nyina ye obi idea na say be na abededi. So when we say startup, it's basically obia na nkrofobia you're from change agent.
Okay.
Omo in society economy in every ecosystem. And there are different forms of startup. Into be wa na adwin training say oh, ada na nsuo nkrofo enum ni me family den enya na nchene. Into obi ade eye nsuo, obi de eye nchene de, obi de eye lime, obi de eye lemon, obi de into hwa society kakra ne pan de aba no na e de change kakra de aba. So the definition of startup miangasa ankro na companies be me know you betumi abom ye 3 4 5 you betumi dey tia abom so you per say you start baby emre pinu is not only necessary to say you start e bia na ade na ye adwi hu no kra ne e wo ho no mo deda
Okay.
but ye den sisan kakra na e be ba can which you call disruptive startup nti ni ade no wo ho deda example na me man no ye nyina ye so ano na nsuo ye num no sabio cap mu ene ba sachet sesi aba bottle mu kra sesi a ye wo flavors kra e wo mu nti sa bia wo pese wo start a enya afi na wo kwakodi nsuo no ebe kro
it doesn't necessarily have to be a new thing na e be ni hoda. Okay.
So the first part is ebia na e ade foforo and I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Yes so ano ye nyina ye use Walkman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Walkman on the show asum. Then gradually Apple started doing something on the iPod e buy. They built on what was already there, but more than digital. Now from iPod, baby, Apple new man bed akwakodu. So they disrupted the startup of the music industry. Again, another thing is you cassette, you CD, you pen drive. Other apps, Spotify, music there. So it is not necessarily say starting afresh.
Okay.
It could also be that you are adding on or neobia no when nyam die bi into the bibi kakra de ka ho manasesa.
Apart from finance when one wants to start a business, now me throw ideas about me 3 more. What are the things I need to consider first before even putting that idea in front of somebody and saying say me person you?
It's a very important question because ideas no way trim bebre. It's like uto ka fiona o kwejuma na uko bebia. On say even though road now the call fear saying to me dodgy traffic to me fast. So the ideas that come into your head, the first thing I was so to bonnet to.
Oh, okay.
You
now
must,
any match or
oh, bet me account. Bet me one said now it is idea wo to me abo ama obi so me dream bibi who say oba wo bra obi na ne pananya the on tro to ma.
Okay.
So bet me account kwan the money wo trim but me I say tro ne say wo tro now they share their bob baby a upia na we bibi obehu say your kitchen baby a odware baby onudwan baby o da story say make say me talker make say me can many say whatever it is you write it.
It reminds
you and writing it is such that it can come initially as a thought but utra na nyoma bebre de count example na me ma wa nsuo no say no wo say wo nsuo no wo pese oye no ankatwa de so that obi asabi obowa anabebi ha no na the enwa like honey or something will add to the
even
water.
Ginger, you can add ginger to it.
About you, but you are not a farmer. Into ginger no konya no we. That is number 1. Number 2, you are not a bottling company. Into bottling design a bed. Number 3, ginger do ahin or bear sabi obi no ma ha no. Idea na aba no nso no ya mankoda mpenyi anya abrebra. So all these things ultra no then it gives you the various angles to which that idea can be put together. Now share value chain na eso So you might concentrate on only ginger water for children or ginger garlic water for adults and ginger garlic water for BP patients. You see, the idea now what true to one, then it will give you an opportunity to do more research, more collaborations, than to be able to.
Do we sometimes end up discussing our ideas with the wrong people? Because Kromania when I've been more happy, to be catching we say, Coco Minyanka me package Coco said I will say, now their own copy being yet. Like, do we discuss our ideas with the wrong people? Because in terms of discussing the ideas, me person say it's because it's just miniature. You need to find something better.
It's true, and it's not only ideas. I mean, people person share be asia, say be school crown person because now maybe when you look uko school kwede. So you should be very careful those you discuss these ideas with. Somebody who believes in you. One thing about startup and entrepreneurs, they believe in themselves because they see the end from the beginning. And then you have Steve Jobs only have but look at the Apple product Hawaii Nyoma and then you have Microsoft CEO no Bill Gates only one but say you are into sports journalism. Look at say I'm to make calculate or be heartbeat or be steps. So the startup or the entrepreneurs they look at the end in mind. So and yes be obia say no be a kasa na ne panel an show nkran so obetumi aye adena ye ndwun say na ne panel bogu a and no necessarily interest a men to us. Ebia na idea now de ba no the timing might not be right sometimes. But no interest enye papa. Some of the ideas can take 5-6 years and sana airba. Like I mentioned, endorse because time iPod started airba. One in him say iPhone ever do 14 Pro in your echo.
So it doesn't have to be immediate.
It doesn't have
you can gather the ideas over time.
And I can tell you that idea now I gather no. Example na me ma won so no. O started ginger no. Nobody JND so aba. So other stakeholders who you know na usuan no maybe.
So it can change along the line.
It can change along the line. However, no, if you don't talk to the right people, they might sit on your initiative. So you just have to start from where you are, but you need to do extensive research.
Okay, now many idea no. When I'm a person me and Pempi no say obi bisa say how do you start it? Me some can say me of behind the scenes say you what GIJ you lecture about finance and he always talks about you can start up a business without necessarily using funds. Good. Up to now, so our question no. So, I mean, explain to me, how can you start up something without necessarily having the financial backing?
Okay. So let's expand the discussion and define what capital is.
Okay.
Capital, everybody mind goes to money. But it is not only money.
Oh,
money there, that's it. So money is part or a resource like capital.
Okay.
So we have issues of ideas, issues of partnership, issues of technology. All these things account. So for instance, me wa hano, my dream training say me pese me yes san suona me kan ye no.
Okay.
Me nisika, but nimdie no ni nyina de e wo me mitrim. Me na ma dream ho say e betumi ayeye. And usually for you to start something or disrupt something, there should be a question of why. And that should open up a certain conversation. Nti ebia na me nisika no, but me no wa be din komo. Uso ebia unim sika no ba unim obia Alex and Cassandra bia ono so nim obia obetumi aboa but nipa na onim no so ono so niska but our machine banana ya so asase.
Okay.
You get it? So the way we link it up no? And all these are resources are a friend capital and not necessarily sika.
So it's a network.
It's a network.
It doesn't have to be physical money.
Because we'll say some this kind of mawa ebia obesi phone krana or phone apai. So the first thing is that because it's a screen no, before you realize before you realize you not scanner koye baby. So we network with resources. One was assassin so there are terms and conditions. People talk and I lazy amawa and also different. Yeah, Liziamawa, it gives you a lot of time to do one or two things. So basically, one machine also and so no me more bottling company. I mean the year sachet water, but me use subium. It is here about to me a use not on the studio. Yes, kind of what the amount, but at the time you can't quantify say a physical money. So when we say you don't necessarily need money because money is such that a very fluid. Internet friendly currency it flows from one place to the other. Only but doing same one. If you are not careful. Are you capable to buy a good land for the ginger farm for the water?
Okay.
Do you know the type of land you need? What about the assassin nutrients? That done for also know a person pineapple. Sebi, one of the biggest fruit companies more Ghana blue skies okoje asase kese more than 20 acres owa na okodua pineapple no fe pineapple ne start A50 good idea nice idea A50 na okọ blue sky for so challenge me pineapple ntimo so yes ye hia bi omo ba no so na ma yen testing hwe omo test omo so there bi o ye pineapple na edu kwama no no. This is how it should taste like, and this is how it should look like. Not just say, "Wasas, it didn't produce the correct pineapple for us." And we need to do something about assassin. Also, assassin in a pineapple. I feel not sure you're better. Pineapple so enche biana ede na say. But also what? So it's not that we don't say money in here, but the network of resources which is equally. For me know kasa. I'll leave my office and come and sit with you. Now, I know share idea. That is money. I dare we 1 year, I bear say, I didn't we say. But if you ever say, oh, yes, but Nimdia, me know your chest is here, to go a long way to help you to change your narrative. Okay, so the lecturer was right.
Of course, Matthew and Wasi, so that has been cleared. But when it comes to Bebrena, the typical Ghanaian will tell you, my idea, no, but miniska. Me hu nkofo akotena investors enim obi a obetimi diska ahyem se be mimi niska ntimi po obi o diska be hyem ama nipa na bisa se na ade we a person ye how much will it cost. Does it always have to be a specific amount or you have to leave room because obi otimi ka se o ma me be 20,000 abetimi dey am investor need because as a wow unhye den nim at the crowd person ye no because I have not calculated say 20,000 menya say ama papa ni say menya say ama the mechanic so o ma me 20,000 within 1 month me do 20,000 bebel. What should me am a person me start up what should I consider before sitting in front of obia within the sika ba be share me idea na wo me meeting what should I consider?
And it's a very question I want to bring a lot of thoughts because at the end of the day we say that the first thing I was say how do you determine not to ask for too much or too little? Because okoji do draw so I bet me be how one engineer say you say we use so I bet me also you have to do a lot of extensive
because
research.
Obi catch obi say na cocoa keke na here 20,000.
That is the issue because cocoa no ono adwintre which I said the why nienti ono person ye cocoa na ogi 20,000 say ono no de no onsua ono de no onfan to lorry kwan ho opese oye no cocoa delivery and abibisa. So your objective is very important. Based on that objective, you talk to a professional. There are a lot of people you talk to. Obeso will talk car as a startup. Car ben now person will talk. Or you are into fruit production now we are pan or bread. Bread won't be from good saloon come. Oh here car be a caravan. It is as a caravan bisa. I bet to me a shelf now I share bread. So you talk to a mechanic or somebody who is an expert in the delivery of bread business will tell you, oh, you cannot use car with enfanya because ebia heat in your manenti a best say. So you talk to a professional. The professional will guide you to tell you, oh, at the end of person, how do you want to start? To me, if I will not mean nanko shen so no musa, what on cocoa da also there be. And I say first day no, we say 3 joints. And you, why don't we start a little? In the area, no, have you asked whether Nkrofo any cocoa who are now cocoa no more penny say millet dear a broad dear and anyway, white and now brown. So all these questions, the professional will sit down with you. Then you will agree. You do a small market research or extensive market research. Based on that, then you come up with the idea. And no, now the back so me plan say me person me ton cocoa. Cocoa no person ton the same. Obia eton cocoa. How differently is your cocoa going to be? Or mediano may any say. Okay, oh yeah, and say na here now better. Who are your target market? How much better? Now, sabi omoton so how would they pay? Now, obi pedu do so all these things will let you know. And the next thing is that because you now have an idea, ni opesa oyeno. Wanche na obeko. Which is the who? Nipa na okon nche so no so sabio onji me. We call something OPM, other people's money. E ya no so no sika obaby or dey ba be hye ejuma no. And unfortunately for us in Ghana, no, say just how we are done for we take it for granted and we don't pay back as the case may be. But you are using other people's money to run your business.
With all this that you said, say you need to seek the opinions of professionals. Where you make will be but what if man will be one make bank? Good. Is it prudent enough to be asking all these questions?
And we don't advise, say. Oba be start wo juma sebi uni capacity ana nimdie wo mu no be call bank so mo ska
adentia
bank nkra be so say scan na dey money then interest juma no be to me because we nye bi da untwe card only license also monto kamame. It makes it very difficult for the bank because a investment. So we calculate the risk. Na bisa say adia ye kwakoye. Abranti ye toka ne man no tu se na ka ne kopema ya boka.
So the order say wa mama scan na me de kwakoye. I've told you I'll pay in a year's time.
Ya de bobu so anwa onim say. So what we are saying is that for startup or started there, it is not good to go straight to an institution for a loan. And even going to the bank, loan pay, we have different types of facilities over to me. Loan ewo. Loan so also be sound say never hena me pay. You was short term, you was medium term, you was long term. Into Osha, I now here. SAS can out here, then all the bay. And you have to be very careful. So now financial institutions so they will not give you the money directly. They would ask you say, when you ask they are told them machine will tell Harrison how they call invoice in bra. Younger say to your Harrison because we are the scanning man will be a machine will one kwakoto. Then brings a price. So we don't advise that if you are starting. But however, if you have started, now we need kakra and there are other things the investor will look at, either a bank or angel investor, a grant. They would ask you, Niawaya 2 years no my okay. Then we look at where your professionalism comes. We be one own praho one my fee. So if I'm coming to give you the money, and then I just say a ye.
Okay.
So behind the scene, you need to develop some professionalism to help any investor to put in money into your.
Now yeah, Pempi, no, this is for wow kwakoji bosiani the best starting no. Now let's talk about the investor himself.
Sure.
And Pempi, no, I've heard people say, Papa you skapa ba me call no hokope bosi and farmer ni trime din. What do you think the investor also looks at before so because okay, me ma uska we fa koye ejuma no?
Mutala, have you tried taking the hair out of your nose before? Once So any investor biano or besano say, what is the alternative or opportunity cost? Say manfa amawo mutala se fa koye sa ejuma na and then I met me the second eye.
But my show boss say, "Mami 20,000. Me fa koye ejuma within 6 months me do 20,000."
Good, but the risks na me taking say minim ne besi. Inti minim ne besi inti mi wo ebia other bibia me the scan education wa minim ne menya instantly. Because to ebia dollar na bibia whatever investment minim ne menya. So the investor would ask himself say, how prepared are you in terms of your knowledge of nyakwa koye no? Nimdien is very important. Would be a restaurant sebi wankasa unnu aduane wo fie krada. Ebia wo idea no which people are you hiring na? Omba ben nu aduane no. Those people, have they cooked before? So the investor would want to know your capacity or your ability to run the business. Number 2, your professionalism, your trust, your integrity. All these things are nyoma build up ema nepani GDS over to me. You are not trustworthy.
Okay. Now entokwa bitimi si. Entokwa etimi si ne say obi timi ko invest in him or ko start a business or idea no timi ka tell say papa o de fasika we him mema the larger amount in different profits ebe no obeje kese. But that's a business they cost so a profit neighbor more no na ntimi ho ase bi ba the one who started the business because say me idea me na me start investor no so say so me na me ma Oscar who should get the larger benefits in terms of a startup me what my idea what my miskadi aye.
But this question is a very true kakra. It's very slippery because it depends on how you start here. Emre pino who true open moi that's why we are saying that you should be very careful. Agreements now don't go in time and what show as be uni bibi. Go in at the time ubosube to miaka bibi. Business will now start here. Nimdie ne ye there. Nti asasunu bia ye there ba when you be full there. How do we go about it? Minimum 10% to graduate the interest of the investor. Mengo catch investor so wo dey mamsika no ne ope bia na why bedu bebe no so don't wait to get to that level to decide say mumbeje ne nyina. Otherwise bedu bebe you think the person is bad but also he's a businessman. Ade na yakoso abetumi agi craft with. So go into an agreement when you are clearly informed by your professional advisor say this is the time to go into it, and even that go in gradually. We call it organic agreement. It's komu 20%. Now offer 80. Usha na enya Harrison make say 20 but say me hu to dey for 10 ka ho. But make sure say wo dey ka ho na usua build capacity e wase so that unfa na nyina enko manipa no. And I've seen businesses oh odi G40 ya man sika no ana ya man investment ni bibi awie no no de akoye bibi foforo nti obeba back no na business no enko ye so the person will tell you ukra ma mento and you sell it very cheap but you had a very bright idea.
Okay, now I didn't hear me because I'm a youth.
Yeah.
In Pepe now, if you want to start up something, ideas need do so. Only empenye for kasa those who are into business and all that. Sometimes they tell you, oh, come the open so your business agana hano. Also pay bibia yet to. Bibia yet to. It's an everyday need. Is it always the case? Because I've seen people render services start up business, laundry and they still make money.
It's true. The point is that economy, no. If you look at the economy, we are largely buy and sell, and we are largely import dependent. And the services industry keeps growing because look at the daily usage of the things, frequency, like Newman Crawford air to talk. It's very easy once you can create a certain market and add professionalism. So look at it. That's why I say why the problem. Identify problem or person will solve it. Then you carve a niche for it. And then immediately you do that. Osha said a startup like Uber almost started. Almost someone say, I don't know person nipa befa can or bekwa jina kwa husa yenye bibi. And they also built up and partnered and they are still partnering. Also person oton emo. Emo na oton nkrofo beton anope bia omo twemu ntem ekọ office. Omo nya kwa ento. Can you add delivery services omo kodu office kra omo betumi ade ato. So you add all these things. You go to childcare services, whether you like it or not, until then baby food, diapers, all those things. Bro fruit, all these things are startup. However, no, how you do yours differently. And then now, baby auto watch it on a piano, different from baby and me meton because see a no we need edge. See a media no
okay. So I is but my one nuggets of wisdom with the rounding up for my because me person starting business but I'm preparing ideas not awesome.
I love. So I would say that for a startup or to disrupt startup, don't put all your legs in the water or don't put all your eggs in one basket. Okay, spread your options, be very patient, study the markets very well. Seek for professional advice, okay, and believe in yourself because sooner or later, no, ebefa.
That's it. Say one person will start your businesses. You've heard from the man himself. Well, answer my question, and I dilemma since 2018. How can you start up a business without having a funding? And that's it. For that was the Max agenda.